Hi, this is Cathryn with Network and Action East Side. I'm here today with Gina Baker from Summit Connections. Hi there, Gina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm really excited to speak with you today. I'd love for you to share how you got to where you are today.
Ooh, okay. So the quick version of it is that I used to work for Disney down in California, and then I also worked for Starbucks up here in the Seattle area. And while I loved working for those companies, they taught me so much. I think you always get to a point in a larger business where you aren't able to necessarily break as many boundaries or kind of exceed the limits, and your creativity can sometimes only go so far just because there's so many processes and procedures in place. And I just wanted to have that moment where I taught people to really break boundaries, think new thoughts. If you could solve this any way, how would you solve it? And this moment, all that creativity happens, that imagination happens. And then you can say, how do I fix that today? And potentially that's a 3 year from now fix. But what can I do with that idea today? What can I do with that idea 6 months from now? And it was just so rewarding to see people all of a sudden realize that what they wanted to do, they could do a version of it today that made everybody happy within the company, but still allowed them to kind of push forward, think new thoughts, be really progressive, and do new things.
I love that you're really pushing people's boundaries with creative solutions. And I can definitely see your passion just from the way you speak about your clients. And I know from your experience at Disney, customer experience is very important to you.
Very important. That's why I love breaking boundaries. Like if you could just help a customer however you wanted to help them without all these other rules in place, how would you help them? And it's such a freeing conversation to have with my clients sometimes just because they haven't had that ability to speak on that platform before.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me then, what's one of your favorite customer experiences and how you helped them break some boundaries?
Oh, okay. So one of my favorite clients, they're a small business here in the Bellevue area, and they hadn't broken even yet. And so they kind of reached out to me and said, okay, I've been in this. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I feel like I've tried everything. Any chance you can look at my numbers and just kind of see my shop and see if there's anything else I can do different? And, that's my favorite thing. I come from operations background. I love everything about businesses. So I hopped in there and instantly made like a 10-step plan of what we needed to do. And within a month and a half later, we broke even for the first time. And it was just such an exciting, thrilling moment. So I continued to work with that client, and then, COVID happened, and it was just such an interesting adventure to then do that whole work again. And it was just completely different. It wasn't how do you break even, now it's how do you survive? How do you stay open through the pandemic? So that was everything about that client has been one of my favorite interactions.
What an awesome case study. So that brings me to my next question then, the pandemic, right? $1 million question. How's it impacted how you work with clients? But what are some of the things you have helped implement to get your clients through this journey that we've all been going through together?
Sure. Well, I'll answer the first part. Is I actually had many clients that weren't necessarily in the greater Seattle area. So we already were doing Zoom meetings. So I already had to figure out how to influence leadership and how to influence teams and work with business owners over Zoom. So I had already kind of done that work ahead of time. My preference is still in person. I love that, face-to-face interaction. We can still be 6 feet apart if we need to be with a mask on, but I still love that idea. And then for how do have I helped clients through the pandemic, back to that client I was just speaking upon, we had to do a, 180 pivot overnight once we hit phase one. They were an essential business, so they got to stay open, but what within that could we do? How do we do it? How do we let people know we're still open? And I always call that first 2 weeks were so eerily quiet for everyone because everyone just stayed home and no one really knew what to do. And I think it was such an impactful moment for so many to go, how am I going to do this? But my brain works in one way, which is you share a problem and I instantly have 10 solutions for you. So we just started trying everything. I'm like, let's just write it down, like stay calm is number one.
Yeah.
So I stayed calm. I stayed very positive. I'm a very positive person. I call myself a realistic optimist because I can be very realistic about being positive, but we just kind of started going through what is everything that we can do. And we fully switched over so many procedures to stay alive. And then all of a sudden we were beating month after month after month for in 2020 versus 2019, and they're still alive and kicking today and just flourishing. And so, so many businesses, my heart is just devastated for them if they haven't been able to make it through. I absolutely have wanted to help as many as possible. It's like, what's your marketing strategy? How can I help you there? How are you doing this with your employees? Who do you need to have on furlough for a bit? Who do you need to have on staff for a bit? How do we interact with your customers? There's so much to it, and my heart hurts knowing that so many people haven't made it through. But the ones who have made it through, if they've been able to give back at all and share strategies, it's kind of been a wonderful experience that way.
Yeah, it's really, yes, you're right. It's so heartbreaking to see those who haven't made it, but there's been so many positive changes too. And it's so exciting to see businesses still continue to thrive and flourish and find a new way to
Right.
make that work. So
Right.
Gina, if someone's wanting to talk to you about the change they need in their business and your help, how's the best way to contact you?
Sure. So they can either send me an email or they can call my cell. So my phone number is 425-951-0520. Or my email is Gina, that's Gina, .baker@summitconnections.consulting. And I'm looking forward to hearing from someone.
Thank you. I appreciate the time today. You have a great day.
Thanks,
Take care.
Cathryn. I'll see you soon.
See ya.